Hi, I'm Brian Holloman, and I worked on the Myths and Mysteries movie, um, based around Slender Man. For the contest. And you know, one thing people might wonder is, Slender Man's kind of an overdone thing on the internet. Why do a movie about Slender Man? And the reason that I chose this particular topic is because I wanted to kind of delve into the idea that perhaps the belief of something, supernatural can make it real. And, it's a theme played up by Neil Gaiman and American Gods that, you know, both good and evil entities gain power by people believing that they're real. And so, with the internet and access to all this information and people making stuff up, perhaps though people start to believe the stuff that they read on the internet, and it starts to make some of the things, even the most ridiculous things, come to life. So that was kind of the concept I worked with. And then the concept of the movie inside a movie, the filming of the movie for the movie contest was just something I kind of threw in there, just kind of for fun. Um, Originally, the project was going to be a kind of campy, uh, poking fun at the silly horror genre and what it's kind of become, using the Slender Man character because it's public domain and because it was created on the internet. Nobody owns the Slender Man character. Using a character like that to kind of poke fun at the horror genre, but ultimately I decided to do something a little more serious. Just and it's still got its campy moments. The television show that we kind of parodied a little bit for this was the Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction with Jonathan Frakes, because all of us are huge Star Trek Next Generation nerds. And so that's where the character my buddy Sean plays, Richard, comes from, is kind of a caricature of Jonathan Frakes in that TV show, where he'd always, spew puns and make really corny jokes, and that's where that whole thing came from. Um, but the idea to have Slenderman in it came from my buddy Brad. Was interested in getting a Slenderman mask and costume anyway for Halloween, so we thought, why don't we just make a Slenderman movie? It would be something kind of fun, kind of simple. And truth be told, we shot it in one night. Like every part of the movie was done in one night because all of us were too busy to really work on um, stuff the earlier part of the week, and so it was kind of a struggle. Honestly, it was kind of a struggle. I spent all night doing post production, making the static effects, making the generating the white noise with Audacity, and you know playing around with Sony Vegas's editing stuff because I can't use Max very well. I'm not very good with Max, and so I was hoping, oh well, yeah, I could totally learn how to use a Mac in a week, and that just didn't happen. I like Premiere. I've seen some people do some pretty cool things with it. I just wish that I had a little more time to kind of learn it and tinker around with it because I think I could do some pretty cool stuff. I mean, I was able to do some pretty cool stuff with the stuff I already had, so I mean that was nice. And my cameras, the quality of some of the shots weren't nearly as good as I really wanted. I think my camera's not as good as I thought it would be. I probably should have opted to take the Panasonic camera because then I feel like maybe some of the shots would have been better, but maybe it was just the settings that weren't great because the camera's new. So that could also be possible. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, my thoughts going into the movie, the editing, the post production. Of course, you know, it was pretty good for a movie that was essentially made in a single night, with no sleep and a lot of Red Bull, a lot of caffeine. So, you know, I, I'm sure it could be better, but you make it in essentially 5 days. They say a week, but it's really 5 days. So I think it turned out pretty well, and hopefully, I do well in the competition. So there's that. Ciao.